Здравствуйте, меня зовут Виктор Шварц. Как и вы, я живое существо, способное на различные поступки, как низкие, так и благородные. Как и вы, я способен чувствовать боль и радость. I do photography, I draw, I paint and I sculpt. Different of art forms let me achieve different effects and they all are equally important to me. But most of all, I enjoy photography. In order to get a good, say, portrait of a person, it is not enough to judge the compositions and the colors and everything. I mean, yes, it's obviously important, but rather the main component is to shoot and to aim, not merely with your eyes. It is very important to shoot through your heart. It is important to have that genuine compassion and maybe even love towards those people whose portraits you are taking. I guess that's why I love photography so much. It lets me for a little while think that I am capable of something worthwhile, of something warm and good. Art is very much a form of self-therapy to me. It helps me extract the little shards of hell from my chest and push them out into the objective existence, grant them independent life and surround myself with them, and thus achieve some slightly twisted form of equilibrium. I've had depression for half of my life. It is extremely hard for me to imagine myself without depression. I guess at some point my personality just got fused with it. When I get my strong depressive episodes, it feels completely hopeless. It feels as if there is no life left in you. You just feel like a piece of dead meat. You can't do anything. Everything you do makes you exhausted or tired. You get tired from breathing, and all you want is just to cease to exist. It's not that you want to kill yourself. You just don't want to exist anymore. You don't want to exist ever. You just want it all to be over. It's excruciating pain. Maybe it is not the physical pain of a broken limb or a cut, but trust me, I have plenty of scars from cuts on my body, and not a single cut that I have made hurt me more than depression. In my art, I tend to use rather grim and dark and decadent images, but it is slightly unfair of people to judge me so harshly for it. I do it not for the shock value. I mean, there are other artists for that. I do it merely to remind people of very simple things. All I want to do is to remind people that tomorrow you might end up being like me. You might be turned into a psychological wreck. Post-traumatic stress disorder in my life manifests mainly in nightmares. I get nightmares at least 3 to 4 times a month each month, and it's been lasting for 7 years now. I grew up in Moscow, spent most of my life there. Russia is a very violent country. It might be the result of a number of things, but you can get beaten up anywhere at any time. It doesn't matter whether there are people around. There was one quite exciting time when my friends and I were going to the train station late in the evening, and we were attacked by about 4 people, and one of them did have a knife and basically threatened us. I believe that we were quite lucky to have survived that encounter. Though on second thought, sometimes I think it would be much easier if I just died there and didn't have to live with all this in my head. The panic attacks that I get each morning when I wake up, it takes me about an hour or an hour and a half to calm down and start actually acting normally. My family is quite characteristic of my country. They are very similar. They perfectly fit Russian society. Paranoid, aggressive, violent, of course, for Orthodox Christianity. Homosexuality is an abomination in the face of God. It was hard to be a firstborn gay son. It quite contributed to my post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, the beatings I received from my lovely family. The first time my family beat me up, I still remember it quite well. Especially that moment when I was lying on the floor, my father kicking me in the stomach and my mother standing behind his back and saying, "Kick him harder." I don't cry much in my life. There was one time, many years ago, when I was crying because somebody hurt me pretty badly, and then I just sat there and decided that this is way too pathetic. I can't show people the extent of pain they can cause me. And I decided that I will laugh and smile instead of crying. So since then, every time I got hurt, I don't really cry. It's very rare. I smile most of the time. I love making dolls. I don't have many people around me, so I try to fill up this social vacuum by my dolls. They all have their own characters. They all are little persons. I also like giving my artwork away. I love giving my drawings to people, giving my dolls to people. You see, I understand perfectly well that once I'm gone, there won't be anybody to remember or to think about it. Even while I'm around, my existence is somewhat of an illusion. I am and I am not. So I give away things that I make with my hands, and in that way it feels as if I give a piece of myself, and therefore at least a piece of myself will be with somebody, not alone.